Hi there, Helen. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting these essays for you today. Let's take a look at what you started here with your first set. The essay is about schools and if they should be more entertaining. So let's see what you wrote. Pupils learn information in all different ways. While some people believe that school's only purpose is education, others argue that entertainment should be a larger part of school. I firmly believe that a mix between entertainment and education are the best solution. This report will discuss a few reasons using examples from a recent study by the Student Board of Sweden and from personal knowledge to demonstrate and support reasons. Okay. On the whole, I thought you did a nice job with this. You've included a lot of the information that we need in an introduction. Specifically, you rephrased the topic and you presented your position. So these are the two things you need in an introduction. So that's fine. Now let's talk about what could have been done differently. One thing is that it's some of the grammar is off. Okay, so let's look at that and see if we can fix some of those things first. All right, so pupils learn information in different ways. Full stop here. Okay. The next sentence became, not the next sentence, but this sentence became very long and it had too many different ideas. So you don't want to do that. While it's good to show that you can handle complex language, you also don't want it to be complicated and you don't want to overcomplicate your sentences. And that's what happened here because you had like 3 different ideas in this sentence. You don't want that, okay? 2 ideas in a sentence is enough. You separate them with some sort of a linker, and then you're fine. So here I would have put a full stop here and then start a new sentence. While some people believe that school, now here you had a problem. It should have been an apostrophe after schools. Okay, so S apostrophe, school's only purpose is education. And then it should have been others with an S argue that entertainment should be a larger part of school. And then I firmly believe that a mix, now here's your noun, here's your subject here. A mix between entertainment and education is the best solution. You can even see that word corrected this because they're saying you can't say are the best solution. That doesn't make sense. So it should be a mix between education, entertainment, and education is. Okay? And then you're fine. So remember moving forward what I said about introductions. You really just need to introduce the topic, like rephrase it, in other words, the prompt that they've given you, rephrase it, and then offer your position and then move on, okay? Because where you're going to, where you want to spend time, basically, is in your body paragraphs because that's where you're going to be judged essentially for task achievement, okay? So it's worth your while to spend more time developing your body paragraphs. All right, because the reason I say this is because this feels like it's bordering on maybe a little too long, okay? So try to make these nice and concise and then spend time on the body paragraphs. All right, let's move forward and see what you wrote. Firstly, traditional classroom education can be very boring because they are created in the way that teachers lecture and pupils sit still and listen, often for hours of class. This leads to focus problems both for mind and body. Okay, now again, too long, too many different ideas, and some errors in your grammar. Okay, look at this. Classroom education is one thing. Okay, so traditional classroom education can be boring because it is created. All right, the education is created in a way where teachers lecture and pupils sit still and listen, comma, often for hours, full stop. And then this should have been a new sentence. This leads to focus problems both for mind and body. Now, here, this is the wrong word. Resent is what you wrote here, which is a verb. You want recent, which is spelled with a C. This is the kind of mistake you have to really be careful of because you wrote another word that exists. And so that could potentially um, affect coherence. Okay. So a recent study from the Student Board of Sweden showed that the best way to raise, because we say the best way to do something, the best way to raise your grades and focus on learning, no comma necessary here, was while one was interacting with entertainment. Now, why is it was? Because you said the best way, one way. Again, so this is now another time we're seeing that there's no agreement between subject and verb, and you want to be careful about this. For example, to learn the manuscript of Hamlet and set up a play, you don't need a comma. To set up, okay, would lead to more learning than than to listen. That's fine. Than to listen to the teacher reading it out loud and then write an essay about it. Therefore, should entertainment make dull classroom lectures more knowledgeable? All right, grammar. Again, not should. You should say schools should make entertainment. No, that doesn't work either because the rest of the sentence doesn't make sense. Okay, why don't we do this? Therefore, entertainment makes dull classroom lectures more, not knowledgeable, that's the wrong word here, more engaging, more interesting. Those would have been more appropriate words here. So you've got a vocabulary problem here now too. Now, let's talk a little bit about task achievement. And vocabulary, actually. We'll kind of put both of these things together. The essay topic is asking you about entertainment in classroom. So the first thing that they're really doing here is testing your knowledge of what the word entertainment means. What do we mean by entertainment? We mean fun, we mean laughter, we mean joy, we mean amusement, okay? So these are what we mean, okay? Lightheartedness, funny, fun. This is what we mean when we talk about entertainment, okay? Something that kind of sweeps you away. Now, while I definitely appreciate your example here, I would not say that this falls under the category of entertainment. What you've described is engaging education, where you're actually doing something, where it's more hands-on. But that's not the same thing as entertainment, okay? So this is something that I see a lot with this particular essay topic, where people think that, oh, well, if it's engaging, then that's the same thing. But they're not the same thing, okay? Engaging and entertaining education are two different things. So you have to be careful because this is part of task achievement. Your ability to answer this correctly and appropriately is going to affect your task achievement, okay? And it's interesting because it really hinges on your understanding of a particular vocabulary word. Let's keep going. Additionally, schools are made for academic knowledge because that is what the curriculum demands for the students. This leads to I don't understand what you have already here. This leads to full, careful with your typing, school days with just no room for amusement during class. Instead, the interaction and for some even entertainment, the subjects such as gym class or music are integrated in the schedule. All right, you can see that even my computer doesn't want this sentence like this. There's some mistakes here. The interaction for some even entertainment. I don't understand what that means. The subject such as gym class. All right, again, grammar. You could have said subjects such as gym or music are integrated into the schedule. All right, that would have been okay. But I definitely don't understand the first part of this sentence, okay? In the interaction and for some even entertainment. I didn't get that, okay? So you really got to clean that up because it looks like it's the main idea of your paragraph. Now, that being said, I definitely feel like this paragraph is underdeveloped. I don't understand what the central idea is. It's very short. It's essentially 3 sentences long, maybe 4. So I'm definitely missing stuff. I'm left with questions, okay? And you don't want that when you're aiming for a higher band score, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to really revise the template, take a look at it again, and see how you have to kind of plug the information and plug the ideas into that template. Okay. If you follow it closely, I think it'll help. So let's read your conclusion and we'll talk a little bit more about this. In conclusion, from examples and reasons given, I strongly believe that a mix of interactions of entertainment and traditional classes are the best way to get educated. We'll stop here, please. Therefore, it is predicted that the curriculum for schools needs a small change. Well, not really predicted. How about you can just say, therefore, the curriculum for schools need a small change. Or, therefore, it is predicted that the curriculums for school will change. Okay, that makes sense. Now, let's talk about your position again. Let's see, what did you say here? You said a mix of entertainment and education. Okay, fine. So you were somewhere in between. Therefore, this paragraph is in favor of entertainment. This paragraph, now that I read it again, I told you I wasn't really sure what your central idea was. I wasn't really sure what you were trying to say. You really definitely needed to restructure this. Your point here in this paragraph was to talk about how we need these academic schools. We need to focus on academic information in the classroom. So that's what this should have focused on. And it should have focused on the whys. So, you could have said stuff like, here, you said, this is where I think you kind of lost task achievement. So, this is what the curriculum demands for the students. Okay. It is impossible for students to go on to higher education if they do not have basic knowledge on topics like history and literature and science. Because these are fact heavy subjects, they need to be taught in a way where students can acquire these facts and acquire this knowledge. Okay. Therefore, there was little room for entertainment in these subjects. Okay. So something like that is what you wanted to write here to explain why you think this focus on academic knowledge needs to continue. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. Let's see. All right, let's go on to your essay 2 now, which is about doing an enjoyable activity with a child. All right, let's see what you wrote. Learning can be done in so many ways. Some people believe that children, through fun activities, becomes creative and gain better skills, while others believe reading is the best way. I firmly believe that trough both enjoyable actions, no, that was supposed to be through, come creativity, wait, through both enjoyable activities, through both enjoyable actions, sorry, come creativity, a greater knowledge, while through reading come accuracy. In this essay, I will present examples from a recent report from Karolinska University, Minecraft, and from an example from IKEA to demonstrate and support argument. Okay, so can you guess what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to tell you that grammar is an issue here again. So let's talk about it. And I'm also going to say a little bit of vocabulary. So, learning can be done in so many ways. Now, I really liked this sentence in that it was short, it was concise. And so these kinds of sentences actually in the beginning of an essay grab your attention. They're interesting. I liked it. I didn't like the word done. All right. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of vocabulary. So, learning can be achieved, learning can be accomplished. You don't really do learning. Do you know what I mean? So, that's one thing I would have suggested. So learning can be achieved in so many ways. All right, now here's where your grammar problem started. Some people believe that children, through fun activities, comma, become creative. This is again subject-verb agreement. We saw this in the other essay. You have a plural subject here, children. So this should have been, again, plural. Become creative and gain better skills. Okay? Here you got it right with the gain, but becomes is wrong. While others, here you need a plural, believe reading is the best way. I firmly believe that through, with an H obviously, enjoyable actions, I believe that through enjoyable actions comes creativity, not come. Oh, okay. Maybe you could have done this. I believe that through enjoyable actions come creativity and greater knowledge. Okay? While through reading comes at S here, accuracy. Okay? So even this use of come like this, it's a nice kind of grammatical thing to do. It's a little advanced, but if you're going to use advanced grammar, you really want to make sure that it's accurate, okay? But like I said, for me, the big problem here is an error with your subject verb agreement. So you don't know when to put an S, or you're making mistakes with it. You don't, you're not always using plurals when you should, and so forth. So this is something I really want you to watch out for as you progress in the course, because this is actually considered basic grammar. And when your basic grammar is wrong, then that's not going to help you. So I just told you before that you want to be careful with your advanced grammar. Well, that's doubly true for simple grammar, for basic grammar, because that's where you want to show that you have mastery and that you're accurate, okay? Because it's a little more forgivable to make a mistake with advanced grammar, but less so with kind of basic grammar. Let's keep going. All right, let's see. Firstly, to learn something through an enjoyable activity makes the skill more memorable. For instance, this is spelled with a C and an E, no TS. Hiking with your parents makes children gain experience and become more active in their thinking. All right, you just said for instance and for example. You could have said more specifically, when something is missing, like the silverware, and a solution needs to be found. You don't do a solution, you find a solution. In the forest, creativity without the needs to be brought in to be able to eat. Okay, so the more specifically fits here and not for example, because you already have for instance. So you're just being more specific about what you're saying. Furthermore, many children enjoy playing video games. S. Full stop here. New sentence. Through video games, without the, they can explore their skills and imagination, singular imagination. For example, the game Minecraft, where the sole purpose is to build a new world, and through your own experience, learn how to move and build your blocks until an imaginary what? And the sole purpose is to build a new world, and through your own experience, learn how to move and build your blocks until an imaginary world what? Until an imaginary world exists? Until an imaginary world is constructed? Something, but it needs a verb, okay? A recent study by Karolinska University, no comma here, showed that creative play allows young children the freedom to be able to explore and come up with new and original ideas. Therefore, get rid of should here. Enjoyable activities should play a large role, ROLE, in a child's learning. I don't know why. Oh, because you have the should here. Okay, so full stop here, but no should here. It should have been here, okay? All right, so I liked your ideas. I thought you developed this well, but the problems were with grammar, punctuation, and again with this, with some of your linking words. Okay, like here you didn't want to, for example. All right, let's keep going. Secondly, reading is one skill that is undauntable important. To read and understand a task does not leave much for the imagination, but it gets correct done at once. For example, the furniture at IKEA, they always comes with manual of a step-to-step instruction, and if it not read and followed properly, it would be impossible to build the furniture together since all parts are a puzzle of itself. Therefore, is the role of reading important. Okay, so a lot to talk about in this paragraph. Let's talk first about vocabulary and grammar. Number one, reading is one skill that is undoubtedly, undoubtedly is a good word here. To read and understand a task, no comma, does not leave much for the imagination. This made no sense to me. It gets correct done at once. I didn't understand that. And then the furniture at IKEA, no comma, no they. This is your subject. The furniture at IKEA. Okay? So, for example, the furniture at IKEA always comes with a manual with step-by-step instructions. And if it is not read and followed properly, it would be impossible to build the furniture. Full stop. And the rest of this you don't need. All right, and then, therefore, the role of reading is important. Okay, so this is another piece of grammar that's really just, it's kind of off, and so it needs to be fixed. So that's as far as grammar and punctuation and vocabulary are concerned. Now let's talk about task achievement. This doesn't follow task achievement. This is not what you're supposed to be talking about. You're supposed to be talking about the skills gained when children read. What skills are children acquiring? Okay, so children, as far as I know, are not building furniture from IKEA. What you want to talk about instead is that maybe they develop focus, maybe they develop a better vocabulary, maybe they develop more creativity because they work with their imagination and they kind of fantasize and envision these imaginary worlds that they're reading about. And so this is really wonderful, and they show more creative thinking, more problem solving skills, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's the kind of thing you want to be talking about. I felt like you kind of lost your task achievement with this paragraph. Yes. Let's keep going. In conclusion, from the examples and arguments, you have plural arguments, not just one, given, comma, I firmly believe that a not mix of learning, because it's one thing here, a mix of learning methods, mix of learning styles, or how about even better, a mix of play and reading are the best way to do what? To teach children or to develop skills. That would be even more specific. You want to be specific. So, in conclusion, from the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe that a mix of enjoyable play and reading are the best way to develop skills. Okay? So, that. Now, one last thing I want to talk about here in this essay is your linkers here in your paragraphs. Now you've got two opposite sides of the argument. Here you're in favor of games, here you're in favor of reading. So since they're opposites, you don't want to use firstly and secondly. Firstly and secondly are okay if you're talking about one side of the argument. When you're talking about two different sides, you want to use something else. Like here, you could have used nothing. All right, and then here you could have used in contrast, or having said that, or that being said. You want to use one of these that shows you're switching sides and you're talking about something else now. Okay, so Helen, lots of information in this set. This is really a long correction. We try to keep them a little shorter than this, generally. Go ahead, correct these, return them to us corrected, start your error correction list, and let's see another essay from you, another set, actually, where you're applying the things that we talked about today. Okay, so good luck, and I'll be looking for your next set.